Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Raven's Readings. Here are two more of my own stories. I'll be doing these on Fridays and P.G. Woodhouse's Inimitable Jeeves on Tuesdays. I do like writing to a variety of challenges and have done over 100 of these stories so far. You can read them via my website at ravensview.ca. Today's are both from 2012. For the first one, the challenge was to write an interesting story of a person making a sandwich. Making a sandwich. Want me to make you one too, hun? No thanks, Dad. I had a bite earlier. Just this tea is fine. I don't mind, he said. I'm already making one for your mother. She watched his slow yet precise movements around the kitchen. He'd always been the cook in the family, taking simple pleasure in the routines. He opened the fridge, took out the bacon, turned to the cutting board, picking up a knife on the way. He cut off 2 thick slices, placed them in the pan, back to the fridge with the bacon, part of a smooth dance that he'd done for years. I'm making her favorite, he said, a BLT. Fresh bread from Henderson's, bacon nice and crispy, a tomato from our garden, some mixed greens, and light mayonnaise. Tell you what, I'll split it between the two of you. Thanks, Dad, she said. So have you thought about what we talked about? Well, Chelsea Launch? I don't know, hon, he said. This has always been our home. You grew up here, all our friends are in the neighborhood. He gestured around the room. How could we leave all this? Dad, most of the old neighborhood gang have moved away. Some are even in the same retirement home. Don't you remember when we went last week to see it? And all those friends greeted you and said how much they loved it there? Oh, yes, I remember now, he said. She sighed quietly. His memory had really started to slip the past few months. She watched as he took some tongs from a drawer and carefully turned over the bacon pieces. Can't let it cook too fast, he said. We did see a nice unit there, remember, Dad? A cozy bedroom, nice sitting room, and a compact kitchen. You could make your own little snacks there, and if you felt like a change, the dining room is quite nice. You'd been impressed with the meal we had there. He poked at the bacon, picked it out of the pan, and laid it on a paper towel. He carefully sliced some bread, placed it in the toaster, and pushed the lever down. Her father glanced over to the table. Your mom and I met 50 years ago, you know, and we bought this place together. I'd miss her so much, and I don't like being alone. She'd never be far from you, Dad, and we'd all come to visit you often. It's only a few miles away. I know, he said, but it's a big change. My goodness, what would we do with all this stuff? Dan and I have lots of storage, she said. We can help you sort through things, separate what you really need now from what you might need later, and maybe you'll find some things you've enjoyed but can now pass on to the needy. He plucked the toast out as it popped, buttered it carefully, then spread a thin layer of mayonnaise on both slices. We really have settled in here, he said. It's been a long and happy life together. He added the bacon, tomato, and greens slowly and methodically, sliced it in half, and set the 2 plates on the table. There you go, for my 2 favorite girls. She enjoyed her half sandwich and watched her dad clean up the kitchen, listening to him chatter on about some TV show. He wasn't doing too bad physically. She hired a weekly housekeeper to help with some laundry and vacuuming and try to manage all the leftovers in the fridge. Thanks, Dad. This was nice. Sorry I have to run, but I'll be back next week. We're always glad to see you, he said. I'll get your coat. She picked up both plates, hers and the untouched one across the table. As she tipped the other half sandwich into the garbage and stacked the plates in the sink, she wondered how long it would take him to adjust to his loss. She pushed in her chair, walked into the front hall, and hugged her father. Take care, Dad. We'll talk some more in a few days. The end. Well, this was a little sad. Do you have a relative that's fading like this? The next story was a quickie. The challenge was to write a very short story in 5 sentences, using fewer than 100 words. Dangerous. I tried to fight the hot bloodlust in my veins, but the roots of my ancestry ran too deep. The others had tried to breed this out of my kind, to bend us to their ways, but failed. I stalked, smelled the scent of fear, saw the wild glittering eyes, heard the panicked footsteps. I felt my muscles tense, my claws extend. I leapt, caught, thrilled at the metallic taste of blood in my mouth. Then I was lifted high by the scruff of the neck and heard those dreaded words. "No, kitty, bad kitty, drop the mouse." The end. This one was fun to write. Just a delicious little tidbit. Stay tuned for more podcasts, either my own stories on Fridays or some of the classics on Tuesdays. If you subscribe to my newsletter, you'll get the next installment as soon as it's ready. If you enjoy this reading or have other stories you'd like to hear, leave me a comment. And do check out my other posts on my Substack at ravensview.substack.com. Ta-ta for now.